Okay, we have ignition.
Well, hi. It's your friend Gary Lucas, and I'm back in the saddle again, playing for you here on Facebook. I'm hopefully going to turn this down. I hope to resume my regular live streaming for a few weeks anyway. We'll see what's coming up. But anyway, let's just get right down to it and I'll tell you. Okay, well, riding some kind of unusual skull sleigh. That's my Cosmic Christmas medley for December 25th, Christmas Day, here live from the West Village. I've interpolated some old Christmas songs, old chestnuts, on top of the mix there. My variation on Memphis by Chuck Berry, yes. Well, if I had to come up with the title, that would be one of them. Yeah, she got some big props there. Anyway, welcome to a little bit of a soggy Christmas here in New York, in the West Village. Carolyn and I are really happy to be here, lucky to be here, in fact, as they canceled so many flights in the last couple of days because of Omicron, whatever. Yeah, we managed to get out okay, and we'd spent 10 days in London and had a final time, and while I was over there, we observed my mother-in-law's 96th birthday, if you can imagine, and she's in, well, reasonably great shape, I would say, despite a few ailments, probably common to anybody who gets up to that great number. But she's amazingly lucid and going strong, and so that was wonderful to see. And while I was over there, I had an excellent concert. I want to thank my friend, Ambassador Philip Rieker, who is the acting ambassador to the UK, for inviting me to give a concert, a private concert for invited guests. And they were very liberal with my guest list. And mostly everybody who said they were going to come did show up, although there were a few cancellations close to the event because of the concern about COVID spreading, and I get it, so I lay no fault in anybody who didn't show up, but those who did show up had a wonderful time, and they definitely put on, a great cocktail party with canapes before and after my concert, and it was held in Winfield House, which is one of the most magnificent mansions that I know of I've ever been in. It's in Regent's Park in London. If you know London, a beautiful area, not that far from where Caroline grew up. And it was built, I believe, by Barbara Hutton, the well-known socialite and scion, or daughter, I should say, of the Woolworth family. A while ago, they gave us a book, which is fantastic, with numerous pages of color photos of this place by day as well as by night. And I only got to see it a little bit for a couple of hours there and in the beautiful interior, and it was something else. And so I want to thank also Pascal Imbert, the Gypsy Kings manager, and his friend Nick Patrick, the very renowned record producer based in the UK, who did the sound for me. And it sounded really good, and I posted a couple of clips on Facebook here and also in my social media. You can find them on my website, YouTube. So what can I say? That was a big joy. I'm trying to recall everybody who came. I mean, I met people I'd never met before, including my friend Michel Faber and his lady friend, Louisa Young, both very respected authors, and Michelle wrote the book that Jonathan Glazer's film, starring Scarlett Johansson, Beneath the Skin, was based on. And the book is really, you gotta read the book to really get the film, is my takeaway. The film is beautiful, but there's some lacunae, if you know what I mean. There's some gaps of information missing. So it puzzles a lot of people, including Caroline, who saw it. I made her watch it, and it was on the, oh my God, they have a channel now on the cable service here called the Woman's Channel. So I guess I know what it was doing there, but it was an oddball choice for the Woman's Channel. But it's a great film, in its own right. You should see it by the same director who made Sexy Beast, one of our favorite films, with Ben Kingsley and Ray Winston. Anyway, Michel Faber was there. He's written a bunch of books, but I can tell you that one is a definite must-read. And I'm getting Louisa Young's books. I just met her. My friend Ian Jackman, who was my personal assistant for the night, who more or less is the major domo of the hotel we love to stay in London, the Swiss Cottage Hotel. He was there. A lot of family and relatives showed up. Kate Myers, Alan Rowden, and Danny Fields, my old friend who actually lives not too far from here in the West Village, was there with his assistant, Kyle Russo. So it was great to see Danny, and Danny is the guy who pretty much got the Ramones and Iggy Pop going as far as their initial record deals and management, and he was involved in a whole bunch of other acts, and he's one of the great wits of our time. We spent a lovely day with Danny at the Courtauld Gallery, which is our favorite gallery in London, on the Strand. And they have a magnificent modern art collection there that goes from, well, not just modern art, they have medieval art and armory, and it goes to late 20th century art. It's definitely a must-see if you go to London on a visit. And I could go, I mean, I'm going to leave people out, I know, but it's all the names are available on my postings about this. So I want to also talk a little bit about, we've been catching up on films in this period, and actually yesterday I thought it was a really good film, and that was Guillermo del Toro's version of Nightmare Alley. Now, I saw the original, directed by Edmund Goulding, on Hollywood Matinee in my hometown in Syracuse. Must have been 1960, at 1 o'clock on a weekday, and it was one of the most bizarre films I'd ever seen, but they kind of cheat the ending. You know, I subsequently read the book, and here's the book. Here's like a first edition of a pulp paperback signet version of it, and it's one of the great noir pulp novels by William Lindsay Gresham. I've discussed it in the past. You really should read it if you're at all interested in the senior side of American life, circa the 40s, 30s, 40s, where it's set. And it was a bestseller, and Gresham got lionized for a while, but he had his demons, as does the protagonist in the film, but I don't want to give too much away. Anyway, I thought it was really well done and well made. Beautifully photographed, and I recommend it highly. Now, Caroline was not so knocked out by it, but you know, that's what keeps us together. Is that, you know, neither of us have the upper hand at any one time. We like to take turns, and I think that's the healthiest kind of human relationship to probably have, isn't it? You know, otherwise it gets really boring. You get trapped in roles, and anyway, we vehemently disagree on a whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, then today we looked at, because it was streaming, The Power of the Dog, Jane Campion's new film, which had its moments when I wasn't dozing off. I'm sorry, not a lot happens in this film. I mean, it's very subtle, but certainly worth seeing and interesting. I wouldn't say it's Johnny Greenwood's best score. I beg to differ, Alex Ross, but anyway, it's not bad. For modern film composers, myself, I prefer Thomas Newman. I'm a big Thomas Newman fan, and also Carter Burwell, who does the Coen Brothers films. They're my faves currently of contemporary composers. And anyway, so I'm looking forward to this. Now, when we came home last night after blowing $36 on this film, we went to the deluxe Cinepolis Theater here on 23rd Street, which is, if you can, you know, lay out the bucks, it's certainly the best cinema experience I know of in New York currently. Very, very comfortable seating, socially distanced, and great picture quality and image with the digital projection there. And I prefer still going into cinemas. There's something about the experience. It's not a snobbery thing by any means. And I like flat screen experiences as well. But there's something about entering the dark in the theater. It's like a womb-like experience. I can't really describe it other than to say it's magical. Now, another magical film we saw recently was this great Paolo Sorrentino film, The Hand of God, which has to be one of the best films of the year. I think it's up for the Academy Award Best Foreign Film from Italy. And that's terrific. And he's a great guy. I met him, as mentioned, at Emir Kusturica's Kustendorf Festival a couple of years ago. Super nice guy who made a beautiful, beautiful film, Fellini-esque, you might say. And just great imagery, very powerful and emotional. Definitely check it out. And there's a whole bunch more I want to see, but I'm going to complete the last thought. So, yeah, it cost like $36. We walked to the cinema and walked back. So we saved on the taxi, but even as senior citizens, which is what we are, let's face it, it was still a $16 plus a $4 service charge experience. So that ain't cheap. And then the irony of ironies, when we came home, there was a slew of all these films, screener copies, DVD screener copies for Caroline, because she's in the Casting Society of America, CSA, and they circulate films at this time of the year to the Writers Guild and SAG members and CSA members for Oscar consideration. And among the films was, guess what? Nightmare Alley. So that was an amusing little incident. Well, I want to look at it again. I definitely want to see it, but everything is streaming eventually now anyway. But yeah, I think support your local cinema if it's still in existence. Definitely a good move. Get out of the house once in a while. Wear that mask. That's all I'm going to say. There weren't a lot of people wearing masks in London. Very disappointing. And I hope people come to their senses who are anti-vax, because the Tories over there, Boris Johnson's party, seem to think it's your God-given right to infect your fellow citizen. I don't know what the logic is in that. It seems like completely anti-humanist and stupid. But anyway, that's just my opinion. I'll see you on Tuesday. Thanks again for tuning in on this beautiful Christmas day, December 25th, 2021. Tuesday at 3 o'clock, I'll be back. And enjoy the holiday, okay, guys? Love you.